Hello, I'm Susan Woods, your self appointed Black Lives Matter investigator. Thank you for your time. In this video, I would like to discuss why Black Lives Matter scares news journalists. Why Black Lives Matter scares news journalists. I'm still in the series of why Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow. We're on reason number 3, which is no accountability. Factor number 5, which is the news media. So I'm going to dig deep into this topic in this video just to give you an idea of why the mainstream media, particularly, will not touch Black Lives Matter. There are 5 reasons Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow: no structure. Number 2, no transparency. Number 3, no accountability. Number 4, no consequences. And number 5, no next steps. Again, we're focusing on factor number 5, which is the news media. And we're discussing why the news media does not investigate Black Lives Matter as it would any other entity. The news media instead provides platforms for the Black Lives Matter founders to promote their books. This is an image that I captured of Patrice Coolers having a conversation with ABC News journalist Lindsay Davis. And Lindsay invited Patrice on the show to talk about her book. And of course, they talked about Black Lives Matter. And I can't play the video for you because of copyright rules, but they talked about Black Lives Matter, but mostly they talked about her book. So this was a platform, a ABC News primetime platform that Patrice Coolers used to promote her book. She has a book, and now she's adapted the book to be a children's book, and that was the focus of the conversation. Here, this is CBS This Morning, and this interview between or with Patrice Cullors and Oprah Temete was held to remember Representative John Lewis. It was talking about the new generation of leaders who are carrying on Representative John Lewis's fight for civil rights. To me personally, this is an insult to Representative John Lewis. There is no way in the world he would condone the behavior of Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation and the founding members. So for CBS This Morning with Gayle King to host these 2 co-founders of Black Lives Matter in remembrance of John Lewis is an insult. And then you have Chuck Todd on Meet the Press. This is Alicia Garza. So Chuck Todd is talking to Alicia Garza about Black Lives Matter and about her book. So these ladies seized the moment to capitalize on the uproar behind George Floyd's death last summer to promote their books and other ventures. And of course, they talked about Black Lives Matter because, after all, if it was not for Black Lives Matter, nobody would know who they were. So, of course, the journalists talked about Black Lives Matter, but mostly the interview was because they wanted to talk about their books. It's ridiculous to give these people these major platforms to promote themselves. And now here you have Alicia Garza on The View. The View gave her at least 15 minutes. I wish I could play the video, but you can go to The View and look at the video yourself. But in this video, Alicia Garza talked about her book, and she mentioned the book. I counted them. She mentioned the book 12 times. My book, my book, my book, my book. Of course, they tried to talk about Black Lives Matter and the movement and what it meant and how it got started and all of that, until the point where she, Alicia Garza, got frustrated and she actually said these words: I am not here to talk about Black Lives Matter. I'm here to promote my book. She said that. She said that. So she used the CBS, the ABC, The View platform to promote her book. And she told them that. And no one pushed back. As a matter of fact, Sunny Hostin held her book up and said, yes, I love the book. I read it in one sitting, which is amazing because it's not a small book. Now you have Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah is hosting Patrice Concoolers on the Comedy Central. Trevor Noah used to be a person who would ask the hard questions or at least demonstrate some type of skepticism when people are on his show. No, he gave her a pass just like everyone else. And of course, she talked about her book, her New York Times best-selling book for adults, and now the children's version of the book. That's all they talked about. It's unbelievable. Not one person, not one journalist, not one influencer asked either of these founding members, where is the money? What happened to the $90 million? How are you planning to use the $90 million? Nobody is asking questions. They just allow them to use these major platforms to promote themselves. Here's Late Night with Seth Meyers. He invited Patrice Concoolers and this gentleman, I can't remember his name, I apologize, but they were on the show to promote their ventures. It sprinkled in a little bit of Black Lives Matter, but primarily it was about their individual ventures. And then you have Oprah Temete. She's on The Untold, which is a YouTube channel talking about what Black Lives Matter is and how it propels people into doing great things and inspirational for future generations and so on and so forth. Finally, you have Oprah Temete or Temete, and I mispronounce her name all the time, and I apologize. But she's talking to Time 100, a journalist from Time 100, in a YouTube video that you can, of course, download and view for yourself. But she gives this long, drawn out response to a very simple question: what is Black Lives Matter? What does it mean? Oh my gosh. I mean, the young journalist tried to interrupt several times and she could not get a word in. And finally, you see that Time Magazine, yes, Time Magazine honored these women on its magazine cover, honored them. Can you imagine how much their stock, so to speak, went up by this acknowledgement by Time Magazine? How many books they sold, how much money was generated to Black Lives Matter and thus generated to them? Can you only imagine? So, why does Black Lives Matter scare Black influencers? Here are just a small amount of Black influencers who I thought would be very interested in interviewing the founding members and asking the hard questions. Bill Whitaker, you have him from 60 Minutes. He asks hard questions. Soledad O'Brien, she has her own show. Van Jones, who is on CNN. Charlemagne the God, he's one of the three anchors for the Breakfast Club radio show, extremely popular radio show, and he is known for asking very tough questions. I have yet to see any of the founders on the Breakfast Club. And you would think, since the Breakfast Club is urban and really dig deep into Black issues, I would have thought they would have been one of the early guests on the show when Black Lives Matter first started. Maybe they were. I can't find it. If you find it, please let me know. But Charlemagne the God is someone I would have expected to ask the question, where is the money? And then you have Roland Martin. Now, Roland Martin has his own YouTube channel called Roland Martin Unfiltered. And Roland is known for being loud and asking hard questions and debating people and being combative. I thought he would be the perfect person to interview one of the founding members to ask the question, where is the money? Do you know what he's worried about? Roland is only worried about or only upset about the fact that Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation executives, Patrice Concoolers, went to the Associated Press to announce the $90 million that was generated last year. That's all he cares about. They didn't come to him, and he said that bothers him. Why would you go to the Associated Press rather than going to a black led news organization? He didn't ask the question, by the way, where is the money? He didn't express any concerns about, okay, is the money going to help the black community? He's upset because his pride was hurt. His ego was bruised. They didn't come to him to announce the $90 million. Don Lemon, CNN, where are you? Gail King, you're always bringing people together and asking hard questions and putting people on the spot. Here's your opportunity to put Patrice Coolers, Alicia Garza, or Oprah Temete on the spot and ask the hard question. Where is the money, ladies? Abby Phillips, CNN. She is a rising star as a journalist. Why isn't she asking the hard questions? Oprah Winfrey. Anybody who knows me knows that Oprah Winfrey is somebody I have admired ever since I was in college. I used to schedule my college classes around 4 o'clock so that I would not miss the Oprah Winfrey show every day. I've always admired her. And I'm shocked that she hasn't had a conversation with these women and asked them, where is the money? As a matter of fact, when Oprah had her special honoring the late Representative John Lewis, she allowed Alicia Garza to close out the segment. I almost threw up. I couldn't believe it. Who in the world vet your guests? Why would you disparage such an honorable man by having Alicia Garza say anything about him, especially in a special that you created solely to recognize him? It was an insult. And finally, Lester Holt. Lester, you are the senior anchor with NBC Nightly News. I haven't seen you sit down with one of the founders yet to ask the question, where is the money? So why are these influencers so afraid of Black Lives Matter? Well, as a Black person, I can tell you why. They don't want to be labeled in the Black community as sellouts because that's what happens. When you speak up against something that you see wrong, clearly wrong in the Black community, you are labeled as a sellout. You are labeled as someone who is turning against the Black community. How dare you speak out against Patrice Coolers, Alicia Garza, or Oprah Temete? How dare you do that? Who are you? Then you are the recipient of name calling and bad things being said about you. You become the problem, not them. You become the problem. And then some people are like, okay, why are we talking about this? The money is gone. Don't worry about it. Well, that's easy for you to say if you're not operating a nonprofit organization that is scraping by, but yet doing great things. But Black influencers, Black journalists, they're not going to say anything out loud about these organizations, about Black Lives Matter and the way they've misused the money, their lack of accountability to let us know where the money is. They're not going to say anything because they don't want the backlash. I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for your support over this last year. I started the Black Lives Matter investigations last June because, as you may recall, I shared with you that I was so upset about George Floyd dying in the way that he did. I wanted to do something. I just felt like, you ever felt like you're just wringing your hands and going back and forth, pacing, wanting to do something and not knowing what to do? And I never followed Black Lives Matter before then. I'm just gonna keep it real. I never followed them. I saw them and what was going on and over the years since they started, but I never really researched them or studied them because it just was something that didn't seem right to me. I couldn't put my finger on it. But nevertheless, I was going to do something. So I was going to make a donation. And that's how everything started with these investigations. When I saw all of the steps you have to go through to make a simple donation, that bothered me. And that's what caused me to start doing the investigations. But June 30th, tomorrow, will be my last day uploading videos regarding this Black Lives Matter investigation because I have enough information, I believe, to create a very comprehensive report to send to the FBI, to send to the IRS, to send to some of these journalists I featured here in this video, to send to the CEOs of corporations that supported Black Lives Matter. I think I have enough information to create a very comprehensive report to share. So unless something really, really crazy happens, I won't be posting any more videos about Black Lives Matter after tomorrow, June 30th. I'm going to go back to the real reason that I started this YouTube channel, and that is to help people start, fund, manage, sustain, and reinstate 501c3 nonprofit organizations. Again, I thank you so much for your kind words, for your encouragement, and for you sending me information to help me in this quest to answer one question: where is the money? Thank you and have a great day.